Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Essentials TF, where tonight we continue the coverage of the Premiership playoffs with the first of two matches tonight. It's the lower bracket semi-final between MANDEM and Forfence teams, and a matchup you're probably familiar with based on recent matches. But I am Harry, I've got Beta with me, and Stu on the cast. How are you today, Beta?
I'm doing horrible. Thank you for asking. I am really struck by the land death. I will be leaving this cast at some point to blow my nose. I guarantee it 100%. I just hope you're ready for it. But other than that, I'm doing great. It's really fun to be in Poland, and I'm really happy to see what this playoff's going to happen here. I haven't been watching too much of the game so far, but what I saw yesterday was a very close match between Mandem and Witness Gaming. So I'm hoping Forfeits could actually stand up to Mandem today because Mandem looked strong.
They did indeed, and I mean the last two times these guys met in official games was week 6 in the main season, and then at Poland as the aforementioned Poland, and both times it was very close. At Poland, Mandem won 2-1 on two of the maps that we're actually looking at today. It'll be Gullywash Process and then Bagel. It was a 4-3 and then a 2-3 on those two maps, so one map apiece, and then our decider on Bagel was played in week 6 when they met, and it was a 3-2 to Mandem there. So 3 close maps were I'll be expecting today.
Yeah, Mandem, they've been winning, but it has not been very convincingly. It's been extremely close. And I always feel like, for some reason, Forfeits have a slight edge against Mandem. It just feels like they stack up well against them, whereas like their play style, it really has the best chance of working against what Mandem is doing. I'm not quite sure. I feel like Mandem is better against Witness in a lot of ways, and then Forfeits maybe is better up against Mandem. So it's might be a bit like just matchup baiting there going on.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see whichever team wins tonight will be playing later on in the grand final at 21 CET. So make sure you come back after this match and have a little break and join us once again with the winners playing for it all in season 49 here. Talking about Gullywash, then you mentioned you would expect some matchups to be better than others. Who are you expecting to take the win on this first map?
I actually think Gulliwash is going to fit really well with One Mandem, the way they play. So that's going to be my initial guess. But I don't think maps are going to be that important, if I'm being honest with you. I think something like product could be a pretty important map because then it comes down to who has the best sniper and that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
You can begin speculating about like, oh, they just put Dimul on sniper and still have 2 really good scouts in Nevo and QB running around, so that could be a big advantage, that kind of stuff. But we only have Bagel here, and sniper is a non-factor on Bagel. And in fact, I do want to talk about some of the players that I see on the server because I see Fancy Elf, aka Fancy. He was playing Scout in the warm up, and then we also have Lardox in here. So I'm beginning to think that maybe he's going to be a merc here because someone like has to go make dinner with their parents or whatever. I don't know.
Someone's busy.
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine, but I see Lardox on the server, and I'm a bit confused because he has not played for them for at least a season.
Yeah, I mean, I was confused by seeing Fancy as well. So we will have to. We'll see if halfway through we get a couple of player changes or whatever we have. But as far as we know, we got Fancy and Lardox in the server on the side of Mandem. We have 10 in the server at the moment, and just waiting for a couple of joiners. Probably getting a cup of tea or some water or something. As we move toward process, then. That's going to be our second map for sure. Again, thinking kind of the same thing. Once again, not going to matter too much. It's just who's better on the day.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it. Just seeing all of these mercs here, that makes me a bit nervous for Mandem, to be honest with you. It's we just got in chat. We saw Zoe is sleeping, and Haunt is running a marathon. I'm not sure what running a marathon means. Like they could just be talking about him going to the store real quick, or like he's literally running. Anything in between those two is, I don't know, I guess acceptable explanations. I don't know what's what. Fact from fiction, no idea. But Haunt should be in here pretty soon, I hope. And he's not actually running a marathon. I hope he's just like taking a quick run.
I mean, if he is running a marathon, we might be here for a while, but we'll have to see. Um, are there any strategy changes that you might be seeing from Poland or anything else? How do you think? Because obviously this map, the first two maps were played in that lower bracket final, is basically a repeat of that. Would you expect them to have counter-stratted from then, or are they just going to try to have polished up in the last couple of weeks?
I don't think either team have like studied up going into these players. I think it was all about Poland. That's what they prepped for, and then now that Poland is over, they haven't really done too much more about it. I can see Witness Gaming like actually caring a lot because they're not done yet. They need to go to Denver. They still need to peak then. So I could see Witness Gaming putting a lot of cram work, whereas I think everyone else probably not as much.
Fair enough. Then as we wait, just the bleeding a bit of time, as you always do. What would it be, a Premiership lower bracket final without waiting for players to join the servers? We have the 11th on server now. We're just slowly edging towards the ready up button. Teams are trying to find that F4 button, locate it on their keyboards. If you had to give a prediction for this first map, I'm going to have to pin you down to some numbers here, Beta. What are you going to say?
Well, I was gonna say MANDEM. I felt pretty strongly about it. They look so strong against Witness Gaming, so I figure they are just doing really well. They're gonna be really good. However, now that Hans is not here and Fancy is, I haven't even seen him play Scout before. I mean, the logs look good, but I haven't actually seen him play Scout. I know he's a good demo man, so that just makes me question myself. I already kind of felt like Forfans in general do well in these situations. Also, they're not going to be quite warmed up, and who knows with the motivation factor. What I'm trying to say with a lot of words is that I don't know, man. I'm so confused. I think if I was to just look at the lineups, I think I would say Forfans is slightly favored, and just because they have their full team here.
Yep, makes sense to me. As we have the teams readying up, we have Forfence in the blue against MANDEM in the red on Gullywash, the first map of this lower bracket semi-final. Teams are rolling out. Delhi going towards Choke, as is per usual, and it's about equal as Demomen are in. We have a fast bomb in from the soldiers of MANDEM coming forward, taking that space. Demol on the low ground still. Everybody is actually kind of a bit hit, a bit weak on the side of MANDEM. Lardox goes down, and then it is the Demoman Zams falling, and that's going to cause the fallback from MANDEM. It's the first mid goes to Forfence in the blue.
Everyone just got bullied out there from MANDEM.
The control point is being
luckily for them though, June will manage to retreat there. She grabbed Ronson, just got out of there, so no problem. But already you can see Bruceman's in here on last, putting on some pressure. They're not going to be able to cap anything because mid is still capping, but it is going to delay it.
The control point is being captured.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the sentry gun only getting up now. It is a level 1 by the spawn. The Ubers are in play, so it's going to be a bit of a stalemate, I imagine. Maybe sending in some sacks. Bruchman, Demol possibly going to try to get in while that sentry gun is now being moved. It has been spotted it's being moved as well, so that would be a good time. But the Pyro on the gun, on the medic as well, could be quite difficult to get in. Probably going to spam down the gun, try to get some space off of that afterwards.
Yeah, they've sent QB into the water here. So far, they haven't really done a whole lot else. They're spamming down the center gun as best as they can.
Ooh,
but
Sam's going down though.
Yeah,
Bruchman taking out the Demoman.
Delhi might join him. No, gets saved by an arrow, but they're very close to dying there as well.
And now the gun's down. Guns down. We have the soldiers coming forward. QB's on the point, get some time. The Ubers are still in play. The Pyro's going to have to get the Uber to stay alive.
They pop.
Yes, and the force is out. QB does go down. Demol is probably going to fall as well in the water area, but getting that Uber out is certainly worth it for Forfence there.
Yeah, really good pressure. I'm not quite sure what caused June to pop there, because June herself was not in danger. It was like to save teammates. And I wasn't actually looking at the teammate that she popped to save as it happened. But really good pressure with that kind of stuff can go on, and you get it. So here we go. Sentry gun is being slowly put back up. There's a Pyro in front of it. And yeah, they're just going to heal up here and go back in, Forfence.
Yeah, already 60% Uber though, so it's going to be about 15 seconds to Uber. The pipes are coming out and being swapped for the loose cannon. The sentry gun on the right side now being taken out, but there's so many stickies on the point to clear, and there's 20% left to get this Uber. They're probably going to get it if they can hold on. Now the heavy, the soldiers coming in. Dumel goes down, Lardox is down as well though. They are going to be able to defend the point here. The Uber is back into play, and they haven't even had to use it, and with the health in the red for Fence, are going to have to run away from that red team all the way back onto second, and it looks like MANDEM just being able to hold on there, not losing any players. I think maybe just one there and the sentry gun, and now they're just going to try to push out with this Uber charge advantage they have gifted themselves.
Yeah, they were just unable to put any pressure on the point. They couldn't clear the stickies fast enough, and eventually they just couldn't make any headway. Sorta in the skybox here, Guzman looking to see if he can get a force out. Unable to find it, but Guzman looks like, no, somehow Condog has just, June has just slipped around him. Guzman's still in behind lines, so things could still get hairy.
Uber did get forced here, and now Müller with the full Uber charge advantage here. It's 6 versus 4. We still got Brugman behind. Going to try to probably come back in for the collapse.
Drops the scout though.
Uber is forward, trying to defend this point, but as you said, Nevo goes down. There's no chase capability now for Fence, and now it's MANDEM coming back in, trying to bust through. They are forward here. Zams had to get an arrow, but with Demol behind and unspotted right on top of June. June with the surf, and now on the low ground, so weak, is not going to get taken out. Never mind. Deli with the long-range sticky is able to take out June. That was unbelievable move from the medic there. And it does mean that with MANDEM almost capping up the point there, it's not going to be quite enough so far, as we have players now coming in for Fence. It is going to be equal Uber charges though, as we have Nevo starting to cap up this second point just to bring back the MANDEM players and make sure that mid-cap stays in control of the Frenchies.
Bust on through the choke here. Not going to be met with too much. There's going to be a single sorter jumping in here. Rons gets dealt with pretty quickly, and Lardox not going to be able to survive either. There was just a sticky waiting for him at the door. So really clean pushing here from Fence. They are looking so strong right now. They haven't been able to capture a point yet, but so far I feel like they've been absolutely dominating this map so far. It's only been them that's ever could do anything, and Dumoul's on this point. Oh my god, getting so much time and so much damage done here.
Yeah, now this Uber charge is 95% for Müller here, where it's only 65 for June. The Uber charge advantage is key here as we have Fence trying to push in. They are doing so much damage. We have Deli being forced back though. Rons picks up QB, and the Uber's still not in play yet actually for either medic. Based on the time it would have been possible, but they were just unable to heal their teammates, and it does mean that now with 85%, June is going to be able to hold on, I imagine, with her Uber charge, as we have Nevo trying to pressure in once again with Demol, and this pipe spam coming in from the launchpad area, as we have MANDEM just trying to survive here, but they lose one. Scouts on the point, and it's just, sorry, Demol's on the point with a pain train. Sword times 2 has thought it was a scout, but in fact it was the soldier just sneaking onto the cap and getting the first round on the board.
Yeah, and it's kind of justice as well. It was Demol that built all that time to begin with. It was he didn't need to fully cap it out, so he built up on the time on it, and then he just he died, and then he came back with a pain train and managed to cap it out. Really weird situation when neither team actually used their Uber. Fence had quite the big advantage with Uber, but didn't quite find the opportunity with all the people going down. So eventually they are going to get a 1-0 lead, and yeah, they've been looking really good so far. Lana trying to get up through the drop down, gets denied completely, and now all of a sudden is looking so good against already for Fence.
Yeah, they lose 3 here, MANDEM, that's 4, and now it's just June and Zams. Lardox on the spawner, and it means that the scout and the soldier, and everybody is now just cutting June off. June's just having to run through everybody, and actually almost gets out. It's Deli with the sticky to catch June right on the escape, and that's going to gift a Fence a full Uber charge advantage here, as we already have 2 down. It looks like they're going to try to take it in straight away. No demo, no medic, and they're just coming straight on through within the next 5 seconds once they have this Uber charge.
Yeah, June has only now just spawned, so you're probably not going to see perfect heals even coming out here from MANDEM, so this is going to be really difficult. They send some players through the water. They're on the demo man immediately. Not going to be able to survive. They can pressure the point so quick. That is clean. They only lost the ball in that entire push, and they don't care. 2-0, very quick. Fence looking dominant.
Yeah, I think, as you were saying, you're a bit worried about those 2 players which aren't on their main roster coming in for MANDEM here, and it's looking like that's coming to fruition as Fence dominating on Gullywash so far.
Yeah, I'm really surprised at how much that actually ended up mattering. But I mean, it makes some sense. Like losing one player will mess things up a little bit. Losing two will mess it up a lot, even if you are kind of used to playing with them. But anyway, it could just be that they're not properly warmed up. I don't want to write them off just yet.
Lardox up through drop down, unspotted, getting so much damage. Deli going down, Nevo, Muller going down as well, and June is safe and sound. Does get bombed here, and it's QB all alone. And just as we were talking bad on MANDEM, they come out with such a dominant performance. Lardox with the huge bomb coming in from behind. Saying maybe it's all down to Lardox coming in, not quite used to him, but bam, wins the mid straight off of that. And now we have MANDEM spawn camping as they have a scout capping up the second point. They have an Uber charge in play in the next 5 seconds. They have to give up the spawn for now. The heavy comes out and Boulder goes down here, which is not going to be great. They are going to fall back. Brugman is weak, does not quite get fragged, and it does mean that now MANDEM lose all that space as they just wait for Boulder to spawn, heal everybody up and come back in with this full Uber charge advantage that they had.
Yeah, they could go in right now, but they decided to just wait to get Baldur in there. At the very least, getting close to the push so that they can actually contribute. They do have time for it, but now they need to be a lot more careful because Mula is not going to be long before this Uber comes into play. But here we go. Uber takes down the Sentinel quickly, and they're not pressuring the point just yet, but they're just going to try to shut down the other side of this. But Uber have now come in. They were a bit too slow. Maybe they are regretting not going fast enough now.
Yeah, they used when Muller had 80% there, 81%, and that's going to be about 7 seconds, 7.5 seconds until the Uber charge with perfect building. So by the time that Uber faded, Muller had the Uber charge, came out of the spawn, was able to defend the point with it, because they were not pressuring that point, did not pressure the Stinkies off the point, and it meant they had to run back. They didn't lose anybody there, so they're still holding in the lobby, so it's not the end of the world, but now they're in a stalemate situation with some sort of pressure going to have to be created.
And Bruce will get pressured really heavily there. Actually do manage to trade him for Rons. And
Lardox on 1 health. Survives the afterburn on 1 health. Just about getting away. Trades 1 for 1 there. As we have point pressure coming once again.
Yeah, and it's a big distraction as well. Lardox comes in. I think he was looking for the medic there. Unable to find him, but actually just getting that much cap point on the point. Now they have to keep someone down there, because if the scout just runs in the same way, it will cap out.
Yeah, Fancy's going to take this 1v1 in Brugman in water, actually, trying to get towards the point, but he's going to get caught up. Demol and Brugman able to take down the 1 there. We actually have a 2v2 and Rons picks it up, so there's a 4 versus 5 in favor of MANDEM here. They might be able to get some sort of pressure on the point, or actually towards the medic here as the Uber comes in. QB is going to take this Uber charge for Muller on that heavy. Does take 200 damage beforehand though, so it's going to have to be a solo. They ran in towards the spawn. The bomb's now coming in, crushing them towards their spawn door. They're all really weak, but the Pyro is now going to save them. Demol does go down as we have a 5 versus 5 now for the point. Lardox is under, but it is going to be just a fight which Forfence are just favoured to win, as they had the high ground after the Uber charge, came out with that Pyro and able to defend it. MANDEM not able to capitalise on that dominant mid win that they had there.
Yeah, very unfortunate there. It was a good opportunity. We actually Baldur on Spy, just crouching in a corner. Not quite sure what his idea. I guess he wants them to go, you know, they're gonna go in through a normal door here, Forfeit, and then they're gonna go in through a big door to try and cut them off. And that's
he's deep poking at the choke now. Coming in onto Muller, massive stab, and that's going to be advantage towards June here. It's a full Uber charge advantage. They pick up Nevo as well. The Uber is going to be forced, but it's still going to be an Uber charge advantage and the second point here, so it's going to work out well for MANDEM. Not only is Muller only spawning now, so it would be a slight advantage, they don't have anyone to heal for the next 5 seconds, so it's going to be a 25% advantage, a 10-second advantage here that it's going to be able for MANDEM to try to capitalize once again to try to get in onto this last.
And Lada's even going in there, picking off the sentry gun. That's going to slow it down. He's going to have to build it over again. So not going to be a fully built up sentry gun. That means that just 2 stickies or like two rockets or anything really can take it down. It's so much faster to take down a level 2 than a level 3, which is really nice here. But they do have to be pretty quick about it. Mula is building again. We saw how fast it was last time around, but yeah, this time around, MANDEM, they're not waiting around. They're just going.
two go water as Rons and Fancy. The gun goes down now as Baller goes towards the point. Fancy goes down, but they get two frags for it. There's no demo, no soldier on the side of Forfence as the players coming forward. The heavy is up. Needs to get Kit picked up before this Uber's in play. It's 99%. Mula has the Uber charge. Is now actually holding on to it. That's crazy. Mula still with the Uber charge. Is going to probably get forced here, quite possibly. No, never mind. It's just holding on to it. Balls of steel.
Wow.
Absolutely crazy. They just needed to kill that heavy, or maybe even focus Mula down. Was on 80 health or something with 95%. If they shoot the medic there, the heavy doesn't have heals. It's one thing you could say, but I mean, if you do it one way and it doesn't work, you're going to say, oh, we should have done it the other way. So you never really know, as MANDEM now on the back foot, even though they have the middle point, they have a large Ubercharge disadvantage as Forfeits barreling in towards the big door here. The Uber charge going to be used onto Deli on the demo, forcing everybody out. Gets mid-air pipes though, and is going to actually probably, no, not quite able to be taken out by the scout there. Is now going to be cleaned up. Fancy and Deli trade, and now it's Uber charge once again towards June. D-Maul goes down, so that's two explosive classes, including the demo, that are down for Forfence as MANDEM trying to once again capitalize on this opportunity.
Ada's behind lines right now, just causing havoc, being so annoying. He is going to eventually get taken down here, but that caused everyone to just back off really heavily. The second point's not going to be a fight. They're going to go all the way back to last. June has this full Uber ad. This is looking extremely good. They could wait for Lardox, but I think they should have learned their lesson this time around. Don't wait around, especially for a soldier. Just go in immediately.
Yeah, and that's what they're going to do. They use through the shutter, through the stickies that aren't detonated, and we have Bruges going down really early. No sentry gun to take down this time either. QB is only on the heavy, as we have Rons picked up by D-Maul. Deli picks up Fancy, and this push has been absolutely disintegrated. But the scouts on the point. Gets two, Boulder and so Boulder picking up two. Larzox gets a third, and that's going to get the point. It looked really good for Forfence there. They absolutely denied that push, but just a single scout, the power of the point, and that's all it takes to get the their first round on the board. It's a 2-1 now to Forfence.
That's a collateral kill as well by Boulder.
Was it?
Killed,
oh,
yeah,
wow.
he killed the soldier and demo ran in one shot. So one shot was really important right there.
Who needs the Machina?
Yeah. Really, really important. Freezer would have loved that. That's a highlight right there. And really important situation. Well, Soldier's going to jump in very aggressively onto Sam's there, but
yeah,
unable to fight him.
I think he got mid-up pipe or sticky. He just took like 100, 150 damage instantly, and they're just backing off straight away off of that. They have no position because they are one soldier down, 1 second into the mid, and they're just going to go back, hold on second, as QB looking towards the big door, and he'll see 5 players of MANDEM slowly coming through, and by slowly I mean sprinting all the way through the big door as we have Deli trying to hold it up. The high ground is now for Forfence as they are spamming towards. MANDEM thinking better of it so far, not coming through that bit of the map quite yet, but they do have an Ubercharge advantage. I'm not sure they know, as June has not had eyes onto Mula, who's only on 92% right now, and it's MANDEM just trying to poke and prod, try to see what they can have. They've got Fancy and Rons in upper, D-Maul's in the lobby, gonna probably try to pincer them here, I think, but it's just a bit of a waiting game as you just wait for one of the teams to outmaneuver the other.
Yeah, you don't want to commit too much to cleaning out those extra players behind, but also you don't want to ignore them completely. You want to zone them out and always keep an eye on all the entrances, because you never know. There could just be a soldier coming in from the front when you're looking behind you, right? But, okay, there we go. Rons goes down. That's going to make it way less dangerous up top. And Fancy has gone down as well. So now it's going to be on Forfeit to try and put on some pressure. They've already run the scout through this choke in very deep. Soldier jumps in, and now it's just going to be an Uber exchange.
Yeah, and June and Bull are going to have to run away now, but June's still on the point here. I think they're trapped here, just not able to quite move, and here we have a 6 vs 6. Lardox goes down though. Mula is half health. That is something I have to play around, and Nevo actually falling as well. So D-Maul and QB, what turned out to be a really good exchange for Forfence, turned sour really quickly as we have Mula getting caught late as well, Deli falling as well, and now it's just be Brugesman all alone. Does pick up a frag, and the first point is gonna have to be blocked here, I imagine, to have any sort of chance in the round, as we have June and Co now coming towards last. Mula gets the spawn, so there are going to be heals at least, but it's a large Ubercharge advantage to play off as well, so they haven't quite got through yet, but they have an Ubercharge advantage to play off of. They have another chance in the next 10 seconds, 20 seconds to win their second round for the board.
Yeah, actually a really unfortunate kill there with Fancy going down. Really long spawn for him. Balder's going to be there in time for the Uber, no problem. But Fancy might not just be there perfectly, but actually Forfeit, they're pushing out here. They want to put the time onto the point. They could get punished for this.
They might do. They have a huge disadvantage here. Mula hasn't dropped down, but Balder going down. There's some chase capability that's going to fall, and with D-Maul in the lobby picking up one as well. June is down really weak, has to force the Uber, and what was a really good commit from MANDEM turns
Fancy's
awful.
going behind lines.
Oh no, Fancy is behind on the point. Is going to have to bring Forfeit's bringing everybody back there just to defend that last point. So we do have MANDEM now. Fully recharged disadvantage, but still holding on to second. They'll be going back towards their choke, trying to make sure that Forfeits can't get it for free, but they will eventually be giving this up no matter what.
There's a big advantage right now on Mula, and we just saw them push out pretty aggressively. Okay, Soldier's on Mula, but gets body blocked by QB there. Nice job. Get down, Mr. President. I keep you safe, QB says. And right now, they are just
Fancy
capping
on lost again. Fancy on lost once again. Picked up by QB though, along with Rons there.
And Uber gets forced to choke as well.
Yeah.
Just Nevo chasing, but there's no way he's going to get to June in time. June just got an Uber as well.
Yeah, it's pretty safe now for MANDEM to be even holding close. If they have some players from Forfeits committing in onto them, June actually gets forced and gets pushed down onto the low ground as well. That completely denies the entirety of that Uber. If they had June in a good position at some point with a scout, they might have been able to chase, trying to get some sort of space, but unfortunately not going to be the case, as we have Mula on a 30% advantage now. Still holding on to this second point. Delhi holding down the lobby and big door, just waiting for some sort of commit behind. Fancy has been going behind as much as possible, so it's a pretty good bet for them.
Lardak's waiting in the drop down here. Need to be very careful. They want to push in, but Mula doesn't have the
huge
on
bomb!
it. Misses one rocket, but Mula's so weak, somehow doesn't crater. Oh my god, that was close. Great dodge there from Mula, but great timing from Lardak as well.
Yeah, huge bomb, but an even better surface. Another bomb comes in. Rons with two. D-Maul and QB get taken out. Now Rons is behind here. The Uber charge is going to be up for Mula, but it's also going to be up for June soon. And Rons on upper is actually either going to be catching players falling back with a high bomb. It's a high bomb indeed. Nobody sees him. He could have landed on Mula, but lands on the scout instead. It's just a bit unfortunate. The Uber now being traded in through choke. Mula's is so much better though, and it's going to be June caught in from stickies. Knows their Uber charge is about to run out, and it's actually going to cost them her life. And now it's going to be a large Uber charge advantage here. Lardox goes down as well. The Force is going to, sorry, the Sacks are going to try to come in onto Mula, but playing so far back. Double kill for Delhi, and it's going to be a full wipe now for Forfeits to come on in. They lose two, but they're certainly going to be smiling from here to second. I imagine it's just going to be MANDEM holding last here.
Yeah, pretty much. Losing Delhi there in that fight does mean that he can't go forward and just sticky trap the spawn. So there's always the opportunity that someone can go in. You can see Lard was pretty deep. And might actually just go for it. Yeah, he's in the skybox. Actually, ignores the medic, goes with Demoman, gets Daly again. That's a really good decision.
Now in, does get another bomb, and that's actually going to be 3 frags, which is going to be enough to defend this second point, at least for now. D-Maul goes down. Navu is at second still, taking out Zams. They've gone too far forward. They don't realize it. The Force comes out, but with June all alone, basically, just Balder. They overchase and they leave Zams all alone on second. Nevo caps up the point, they lose June, and now it's going to be a huge advantage once again in Forfeits' favor.
I was so scared that Balder was going to get that kill, but no. Yeah, he hit like one really big beat shot onto Mula before dying instantly, but now the train is just rolling. Even Fancy going down to Mula as well. I think this is curtains. This should be another round for Forfeits. There's just this one demo man on the point, holding strong. There's a pyro spawn trying to get out. Sams goes down. That's going to be it. Forfeits with another round there. Eventually, too much momentum going their way for MANDEM to stop them. But let's be real. This was a very back and forth round, and MANDEM they're looking a lot stronger than they were in the beginning of the map.
They are indeed. It seemed like they did just need that bit of a warm-up, but it hasn't saved them so far. It's 8 minutes left on the clock with 3-1 to Forfeits, so we need to win 2 quite quickly here, as we have the 5th rollout of the first map coming out. We have a no quick roll at this time from Demol, just playing on the low ground. Muller taking an early sticky. June evading most of the damage going her way, as we have good early damage now for MANDEM, as we have the soldiers bombing in, but Lardok's denied. Double meat shot from QB. Brugman and Muller go down though. Fancy coming in from behind, and it's a huge mid from MANDEM. Once again, that's 2 scouts just left alive. Nevo and QB are going to get picked up as well. Only Boulder is going to fall for MANDEM, and Forfence are going to be holding on to last once again. June with a large Ubercharge advantage. Now on second with the rest of her team. Going to play slightly further back towards the choke to have warning for any bombers coming from up top, because they didn't have a scout. Now coming forward, and it's going to be all in MANDEM's court as we look towards the Forfence last.
I feel like you could really tell Sam was like just ready to go forward and spawn camp, and June was like yelling at him, no, don't do it, you're gonna get sniped or something stupid. So they're just gonna hold back, and now they're gonna move forward. They send a scout through the water, and then send a demo and a scout through top here. Haven't really taken down the sentry gun just yet. There we go. Finally does go down. Since Demo Man is still alive in water, I'd say that just as he dies here. But there's still a 4-on-3, and this Pyro is just a menace.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough. The Uber just did not last long enough, and the scout and soldier they sent in water got absolutely mulched by some explosives. And it did mean that the Forfence hold was good enough. MANDEM having to run all the way back. They are hard building. June now 10 seconds to Uber, while Forfence capture up this second point. Gonna probably look to take advantage of this. They don't have much space though, and therefore not much time to work with. As June just getting her Uber. Rons does go down early there. Lardox is weak, so it's still pretty good for Forfence just based on the dry fight. But now MANDEM with the Ubercharge to hold second, but they don't want to be holding anything. There's 5 minutes left on the clock, and they're 2 rounds down.
Yeah, Lardox tries to push forward, and yeah, he's gonna actually lose this. Looks like Forfence, they are not content to just sit there either. You're right, they could just sit there for 5 minutes and win. But it looks like they just want to continue playing the game, and Kelly, he went down to 7 HP, almost dies there. So,
onto 22 health, held onto that Uber, and now Forfence's strategy of trying to get forward, trying to get that second point, could be biting them in the butt, as we have them 2 down as MANDEM trying to come forward. June uses the Uber, now Muller reciprocates as we have an Uber trade on the midpoint. Deli's going to get taken out from a flank from Fancy, and Brugman and Muller fall afterwards. So there's actually going to be now a sack coming in onto June, but it's not enough. Demol getting taken out from Zams, and the cap now coming out. There are no forward spawns available, and it's going to be another Ubercharge advantage for MANDEM. It feels like they've just got to be taking advantage of these opportunities that Forfence keep gifting them if they've got any chance within the next 4.5 minutes to take another 2 rounds.
Yeah, this is definitely a good opportunity. They could have even gone for like a dry push here, just man and heal advantage, but looks like they decided to just go for the Uber ad. That makes sense to me as well. They shouldn't panic here just yet. Losing Lardox though, that's super annoying. They just go a man down, but this is a massive Uber ad. They're one. They need to go, and they're going down.
They do indeed. The Uber now coming in. The sentry gun is not even going to get destroyed. It's just a class swap onto the heavy, as we have Forfence now holding on. There's no time on the point, no pressure onto the point either. The Demoman is still alive, never mind. We've killed Deli twice, Peter, and that's enough to cap up the round. And that's 4 minutes left on the clock. That round took 4 minutes, with 3 minutes 45 seconds, 40 seconds or so left in the round. MANDEM on track to probably just about have enough time, but they need to take advantage of every single opportunity they are given.
That hold looked really good until you opened your big mouth and said Deli was safe. Yeah, he died, and then everything just collapsed. It was just all hinting on him being safe in water and delaying so people could get out of spawn. Yeah, and then he just got jumped by a soldier. So, another mid-fight here. This one's going to be extremely important. 400, if they're smart, they go for the enemy medic just to slow things down.
Both soldiers weak on the low ground. Ron's going to get taken out. Lardox as well. Demol only the one to die for Forfence though, and so it's MANDEM with player down, actually going to fall back onto second. It's a bit of an... they kind of have to, but it's not going to feel good for them with 3 minutes left on the clock. The pressure now coming in from Forfence, and they just feed one. Brugman is going to die, and that's actually going to mean that Muller on low HP is going to have to fall back, and that late death is going to really favour MANDEM here. It's a 4 versus 3 at the moment on the middle point as the spawners come in to make it a 6 versus 5. And it's gonna just be Forfence holding on to this choke, the MANDEM choke, and the spawners just now in time for Forfence. MANDEM still trying to pressure in through choke. Lardox in the banana there as we have the Ubers traded in. The Ubers looks to be about the same as Deli and Nevo in the Uber. The bomb comes in, Brugman and Zams get traded as we have Lardox bombing out to save himself. Gets an arrow, but it's the health advantage in for MANDEM as we have the players from Forfence going down, but they trade out another frag once again, and now with the high ground advantage, it's going to be Forfence's fight to win. As we have Demol and Rons do trade, but it's not enough for MANDEM as we have the Ubers are equal almost. Actually, it's a pretty big advantage for June, never mind.
Our control point.
Yeah, they're definitely going to use this to push out at some point here. It's not quite relevant yet, but yeah, the double scout on the high ground there was just absolutely beautiful. But yeah, it looks like Forfence, they're going to cap out the second point, but they do need to be careful. June on 80% now. They're not going to be completely sure how big the advantage is here, but Demol is behind lines. He's going to go for the back cap. He is. Demol's on the back cap. Is anyone going to come back there to stop him? Looks like the answer is no. That's
a wrap. Yeah, well, that's a nice heads-up play from Demol. The fight was not going Forfence's way, but that's because all 6 players of MANDEM were just fighting on this second point, and they had just a bit of an opening for Demol to get in behind. He sneaks in, and it's going to be a 4-2 on the first map, unless one of the 2 teams can get around to the next minute, but it's not going to change the outcome as Forfence winning Gullywash. And it's possibly a surprise and possibly not. There was 2 quick rounds as MANDEM seemed to just be out of it, and they did manage to get back into the game, but it was not enough. And it looks like both of our predictions did not come to fruition, but it was instead your worry that came to fruition.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. It's like, I guess my logic worked out, but yeah, I didn't quite believe it. And that was actually going to be the case. But I guess not. Okay, MANDEM's actually pushing into last day just to I don't know, bin them really badly. You know, they're not going to bother with doing stuff like capturing points. Who cares about that? You just want to get a good bit of spawn camping going on. Can we? Is this allowed? I played on enough pub service to know that this is deeply frowned upon.
Yeah, I think this is bannable on Uncle Topia, so
yeah.
I think Uncle Day needs to get onto that and ban these 6 players. So we do have a 4-2. It could have been a 4-3. MANDEM didn't really care, as Forfence are going to win up the first map. They are 1 map away now from the grand finals, and from doing what they did last season and beat MANDEM, what they were unable to do at Poland in the lower bracket final. It looked pretty good from them. They seemed to overextend in some situations, but they were able to take advantage of the opportunities that MANDEM gave them, whereas MANDEM, although they didn't overextend and give many opportunities to Forfence, I felt like they just were not able to capitalize on most of the opportunities that came their way.
Yeah, they had some pretty decent Uber advantage pushes and that kind of stuff, and they just never really looked that dangerous compared to what Forfence was able to do, so... Definitely a bunch of squandered opportunities. And I will say, they just looked so bad in those first 2 rounds. It was really like they needed to be woken up.
Yeah.
I guess Zoe's not the only one sleeping. I guess everyone else just took like a 5-minute nap there in the beginning of the map as well, if I had to be really harsh. But it's not quite as big of a blowout as it looks like. If you look at the logs, it looks pretty balanced. It's 96 to 96 kills. 44 to 43,000 damage. June has significantly more Ubers somehow. Yeah, you go ahead and explain that. 3 to 3 mid fights. So it's really just a matter of converting those advantages that your opponents are going to give you every once in a while. And Forfence looked way better at doing that.
Yeah, I mean, the heals from June were pretty evenly spread. Slightly more heals across the board. But as you said, it was a pretty pretty close game overall, despite the fact that the first 2 rounds were pretty much just easy mode for Forfence. QB with the top frag with 28 frags, over a 2 KD to boot as well. Fancy, even though he's known for his Demoran gameplay, clearly capable on the scout with top fragging Mandem. Big damage coming in from Zams. Delhi with less damage, so it's kind of even across the board, but some standout players as we head towards our second map of Process. This is historically, to my understanding, the map that Forfence tend to favour, but in the warm-up, they actually lost it 1-4, whereas they won Gullywash 5-0, so maybe that's a sign of things to come, and Mandem hoping to get back into this game and try to beat the Frenchies on possibly their own map. Who really knows at this point? As we have the players starting to join after the map change. It was a bit longer than usual because they were messing around on Dust Bowl for a little bit there. And
as one does. Yeah. I feel like it's pretty interesting that they lost that. I also feel like Process is like a really good map for Haunts. Like Haunts always impresses me in Process, and he's not here, so it should be interesting to see how Ronson and Lardax can really step up to those two. But I'm gonna leave you for a bit, so I'm sorry, but I need to go blow my nose so badly.
Well, I think you should be apologising to the chat, as you do have to listen to a bit of a monologue from me, I guess. If I were to talk about kind of just one thing, bit of a radio for a while, historically, Forfence have been pretty good on Process. They did win 3-2 in the Poland lower bracket final once again against Mandem, but then Mandem won 4-3, so you can't really talk too much about historical events, as it doesn't necessarily pertain to what happens in the future. But we do have 9 on servers, I imagine, players just like Beta going around getting some water, so bit of time to wait. Yeah, I don't have a huge amount to say, really. So, I mean, we just got to hope for the players to come back in, hopefully join nice and quickly. Just a quick reminder that the grand final will be set at 21 CET. Whichever team wins the next map or 2, depending which team you're talking about, will go forward, play against Witness Gaming, waiting for the winners of this match, just like they were at Poland once again. Maybe it'll be a repeat of the final, maybe it won't. We'll just have to wait and see. And this map will help to answer that question Process once again, as we have most of the players in the server.
I am back.
Beta,
sorry
thank
about
you
that,
very
but
much. Thank you for saving me. I had completely run out of things to say. I was just waffling, waffle, as we have 11 on the server. You mentioned that you weren't putting too many stocks in whatever map was being played. I think that's pretty fair to say. Came to fruition. But if you had to put money once again on a team winning this map, do you reckon Forfence can take the momentum, or do you reckon Mandem have kind of stemmed the bleeding despite the fact that they did lose 4-2?
Well, there are 2 schools of thought here. Number one, I think Forfence looked like the better team on the first map, and therefore they're going to just continue to carry that on. And yeah, man, they don't look quite as organized as they've done in the other matches, and that makes sense when we play with 2 mercs. So that all makes sense. The second school of thought is, I'm sick and I want this match to end as fast as possible. So obviously, Mandem's going to win, right?
I like what you're saying there. You got to cast as curse the team. So if anything's going to make a team lose, it's saying that the caster's saying that they're going to win. So I think I'm going to say that Forfence are going to win, just to put you through more misery, and hopefully we can have the caster's curse go that way instead. But I reckon it'll be a close map either way. The first map was close, despite the fact that 2 rounds basically were free to Forfence. Most of the time it looked back and forth. So I do think it's going to be close either way. Just waiting for June now to join her team, as we have Balder on the spy, just going around pistoling people.
Yeah, it's actually very rare I see Balder on spy. It really seems like he only does it in like extremely rare circumstances, which is kind of how you're supposed to do it, right? If you're known for being a good spy, then in a lot of ways that's going to hinder you from being a good spy. Whereas if you just go spy once or twice per season, then people are just going to be like, oh, I guess he did that once. and then not think about it, and then when you do it again, it's really gonna surprise them. So in that way, you shouldn't be a good spy. You should just be very rarely a spy, right? Just
Well, I mean,
time it right.
But Balder was a really good spy last map with that massive frag onto Muller and actually kind of enabled MANDEM to get around, I'm pretty sure. So maybe what you're saying is coming true. Just never go spy and just pull it out when it's needed.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, we're about.
Yeah.
I guess my big prediction here is I think Ron's gonna just skill check Deli on the first mid. Just some friends on friends
Nice,
hate
yep.
action. I really want to see some fast rollouts. It seems like players have not really favored that as of late. It's like it's really only Nobby that seems crazy enough to just consistently go for fast rollouts on demo men every single time.
I think there was only one fast rollout last mid, and Demol just got absolutely demolished, and they just ran away after that. So it would be interesting to see if the map change to process, historically one of the more kind of like popular fast rollouts, will change that. We'll see more and more, or whether what you say is true, as the teams, I believe, are readying up within the next 15 or 30 seconds. So I reckon it's going to be once again close. I reckon, do you know what? I reckon it's going to be a tie. We're going to go to a golden cap. That's my prediction. As
boy, all right, they've gone live. I think they fought a mid and then just went like, you know what? Let's pause this.
Fantastic.
Yeah, good thing for us is that the pause is before the game actually starts. So that's kind of fortunate, I think.
Oh, it does mean that we're going to have to waffle for a bit longer, though, Peter, because we have no idea how long this pause is going to last. We've got actually nothing to say, because the game hasn't started.
Yep, very true.
Actually, who's the prediction for who crashed? What's your prediction for who crashed?
Ooh, like the funny prediction would be that it's like attack pops because they're just so mad that they lost this mid, but that's probably not very likely. Okay, it sounds like Stu knows the answer. I'm gonna guess anyway before Stu says anything. All right, I think it's gonna be Lardox.
Gonna be Lardox, okay.
All right, Stu, do you have the correct answer for us?
Manda. Oh, interesting. Okay.
All right. Okay.
We have an unpause in the pre-game, so we will be going live actually in about 15 seconds. There we go. Teams are readying up. Here we go. The mid's coming out, and so we have Forfence once again in the blue and MANDEM in the red. They're staying on their same teams, which is nice to see. My HUD says that June is on Sniper, which is very interesting because I still see the Ubercharge bar, but we do have the mid. Now, it's going to be a fast run onto the top of Crate, but Ron's falling back, and it's going to be teams now rotating towards the right, it looks to be the case. The high bomb now coming in, as we have nobody dying quite as yet. There we go. Demol's the first frag. Lardox does fall in the trade, as we have Deli is actually all the way out by choke. Muller is still stuck in there and getting stickied out. Takes 140 damage. Has to get the mini pack and run away based on that. Rons is going to bomb in and gets the frag onto Muller. And Nevo, seeing that, is going to try to bot in and get a frag, but only gets Rons. And it does now mean that MANDEM with a large Ubercharge advantage. Gonna cap up this middle point. And Fancy with the easy in the chat is possibly there to tilt the Frenchies.
Yeah, you're all about to lose to a mix. the trash talk is real. That was just a real threat and evil somehow just blindly shooting it in there. Basically not really knowing where Mula was. Finds him anyway, no problem. Mula gonna be on about 40%. This pause didn't even mess up the Uber. Sometimes you just get fully gifted by a pause.
I got a bit worried there, Peter, because I saw June running into a corner and staring at the corner, but the Uber comes in now. June did not disconnect as the sentry gun goes down. Technically not, but we just have a swap off as we have Deli getting forced out really weak though. The Uber is 10 seconds away still. Lardox is the first frag. They have no space. Brugman is going to get traded. Fancy is going to fall as Demol tries to carry the weight of his team by blocking the points. The Uber now in play for Muller in the next 5 seconds, and June with only 45 is going to have to back out all the way as Forfence, after losing the middle and pushed back to their last, are going to be able to hold on. They don't even have to use any sort of Uber or whereabouts to do so.
Once again, the last throws from Forfans have been extremely solid. It really seems like MANDEM, they can only get these last pushes going if they have a massive advantage going into them. But here's a double soldier bomb in. At least they threaten to do so. Demoman gets sent into the skybox by Steven Trapper. Deli, he wanted to go forward, he really only went up. However, they do get Sam still anyway. So no explosive classes to be dealt with at all here. Forward, they can just move forward.
Indeed they can, and it's not even going to be 3 forward spawners, it's just going to be MANDEM on last. Full Uber charge to hold on to it, so it's not going to be in some sort of pressure to... Actually, they're holding on to second here. They do get their spawners. They are going to pressure out. They're clearing the IT. Fancy goes down, though, as we do have Brugman gets traded out for it, stays in. The Uber is now out. It's going to be Zams trying to get forward with some sort of flash. He does indeed get it as Deli gets killed. Boulder picks up the frag, but now after the leapfrog, successful from Forfence there, it's going to be 80%, and they might get Brugman, though I think it looks like he's going to get denied.
Yeah, unfortunately for him. And there's a big Uber out here in Mula, but they need to wait for Deli to really do anything. If you want to have a successful Uber in onto mid here, you almost always want the Demoman to jump forward and really threaten to cut you off so you can't escape properly. Right, otherwise you're just gonna like really easily get out.
And based on that, now Deli is only just coming through trick. The Uber is used, he jumps forward, but it's 80-90% now for June. And the Uber catches nobody. It's a full Uber charge advantage for MANDEM as they come in, back through choke. Fancy and Zams are back through choke as Boulder takes the Uber with Lardox through IT. They're trying to get some pressure, trying to catch anybody. And D-Maul is the only one they find, but that is a frag. And QB takes a rocket to the face. Boulder picks up the frag as well. So it's now going to be 4 up, 3 up as Deli goes down. That's going to be leaving a scout. Fancy is going to be capping it up. And there's no Uber in play to try to deny, and no Demoman to deny the space either, as MANDEM coming in. The bomb from Brugman gets him killed. Lardox falls, but it's not going to be enough for Forfence as MANDEM pick up the first round. Feeling a lot better here. Fancy saying lol, losing to a mix in the chat. Lol, losing to me on Scout.
Losing Toy Me on Scout. I love it. Yeah, so the shit talk is really going there. That was a great Uber. Just the momentum just kept on going on. I was watching Boulder the entire time, and it was just like, oh, Soda lands in front of him, does 1 million damage. Boulder hits him for 30 and kills him, right? And that just kept on happening for so long that it just kept on moving forward. They never stopped. Non-stop momentum. Let's see what happens on this mid-fight, as it's just going to be as basically taking each other's high ground here, their own high ground.
Yeah, they're rotating around to the right, taking each other's crates. We have Rons now bombing it onto Mula, seeing he's caught, gets 2 lovely rockets, does trade Lardox for it as the bomb's now coming back in onto June. June is less than half health with only 2 players alive. It is 2 scouts though, so that's very defendable, as we now have just MANDEM holding onto Forfence second after not capping the mid. It seems a bit weird, but they have to make sure that June survives here. The Uber comes out, D-Maul is gonna fall after killing Boulder, but it's gonna be enough to get the force, but that's gonna enable MANDEM to actually hold onto this middle point. They don't have some sort of advantage, but they do have a round in their favor, so they're not going to feel too bad about that. As Forfence now coming back in, they are going to try to contest this point actually, as Deli defending it, not quite capped up yet as Rons falls, Lardox falls, and it's actually going to be enough of a commit from Forfence. It looked good for MANDEM. The Uber looked like it had won them the mid, and it had, but they did not capture that mid quite quick enough, and now it's MANDEM once again on their last as Forfence capping a mid and capping up second.
Yeah, almost the over 90-second mid fight there. Really long, really back and forth, spanning several points as well. Really good stuff to see here, but now it's going to be this Forfence pressure coming on, and so far we've seen that the Forfence pressure has been so much better.
The Fancy on the sniper, and Deli gets just in the way of Mula, and it means that the headshot hits the Demoman instead of the medic, but Nevo goes down, he does overextend, gets caught up by the sniper, so it's now just going to be Fancy taking that opportunity to get that sentry gun up for MANDEM, as June and co holding on to the last point, just quite passively as they wait for that sentry gun to come up and, before they take any more space on the last. And now could be the time for what you thinking? Oh, never mind. They're trying to pressure in through one. I was going to ask what you're thinking about the map so far. Who do you think's looking better? But there's just no time as Forfeit still pressuring as much as possible. They're coming now through. Brugman is in panic or towards panic. He is going to be brought down really weak. He's caught by the sentry gun. QB goes down as well, and they only get the sentry gun for it. So that's 2 frags, and now they're going to have to fall back. And now maybe we might have some sort of opportunity. Beta, who is looking better so far?
Well, I mean, there's only one team that actually has a point, so I'll give it to MANDEM, but I don't know. It could be anyone's guess here. As Baller goes for a sneaky peek, does gain nothing. In fact, he gets picked off here. And okay, I need to look at whether or not we have any like weird booties. We do not. It's just gonna be completely normal. They spam down the sentry gun. And you're gonna take down Lardox. This is looking so good for Forfeits. This pressure is insane. They're gonna force down very soon. Ross even goes down with good pressure on the point. Okay, that just all fell apart for MANDEM really, really quickly here. All right, okay, they all type. I was like, okay, what are you going to type now that you're actually losing?
Tying to a mix, lol.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there was 2 good frags there, Lardox and Balder going down slightly out of position. Balder trying to go for a frag, but it just opened up the last point for Forfeits. As now we head towards our 3rd middle of this second map, as we have Deli and Zams just trading stickies, no one taking damage so far, as we have the teams now going towards the left-hand side. Forfeits are actually caught in their own choke as they lose Deli and QB. Just a single Lardox bomb. He's going to absolutely just single-handedly win the mid for MANDEM here. And it's all down to Demul trying to get something done from behind. Fancy seems to know what's up though. Is going to start to pressure, but Demul actually is going to win that 1 versus 1. It's going to peel 2 players back here from MANDEM.
Yeah, he's just going to continue to jump around
Peels
behind.
5.
Yeah, this is so annoying. Like, you're just the most annoying player to play against. Sam is being pressured really heavily, and there we go. Demul peeks his head in again, behind lines, almost takes down Jude as well. That rocket was inches away from dealing enough damage to drop her. So there we go. Uber exchange finally comes in. It's actually a 2-on-2 because of Demul dying there. But let's see what happens here if they actually decide to keep on running forward. Baller needs to be careful.
Yeah, as we have Lardox now in behind, trying to peel players back, and they do indeed peel, but it's now just, after that free frag, it's going to be a 5 versus 4 on the mid fight here. I imagine Forfeits trying to pressure in through choke. Now Rons is back in the fight, so it's going to be some sort of equal fight here. It's a 6 versus 5. Lardox will have a nice forward spawn and therefore be nice and healthy, but now Ron's just feeding in for free, tries to get the pack but not quite able to, as Nevo does go down. It is going to be a trade. Scout for soldiers, we have Lardox coming forward, loads of damage onto Demul and QB. Both are going to fall back through that sewer area, and it's going to be MANDEM winning this fight once again. This is technically not been a mid fight, but they've been fighting on mid. So last time we had a mid fight that spanned 4 points, and now we've got a not mid fight just going on for 3 minutes. Who knows what's going to happen next?
Yeah, it's just impossible to tell here. So you can see Lardox trying to spot out where the medic is, and I thought maybe he was spotting for Rons or something so they could jump in, but not going to be the case. We actually have Fancy on Sniper. We saw him fragging out in the pre-game on Sniper, so maybe he's just feeling it today. Because he's got to go in here to sewers and see if he can get a good line-up shot here. First shot is always the freest one. After that, they know you're a sniper and they're going to be much more aggressive. And they know now. He missed.
Yeah, was never going to have a chance onto Mula because Mula's all the way back behind the second point, but did possibly have a free frag onto Deli, just standing still on the on Spire there. As Balder now opening the door, gets caught out by Brugman, double rocking it. It's going to be now frag advantage plus the fact that Fancy is on Sniper. Forfeits are going to try to take this into middle. They have an Uber charge. It looks like they're going to want us to do some sort of trade, as Fancy just holding them back actually, and Sniper holding them back into the choke, making sure that Mula can't walk through. As we have Rons and Lardox now going down, no soldiers, and that's going to be key for MANDEM to be holding this. And Zams goes down as well. No soldiers on the process means there's going to be less pressure from the high ground, and it's going to be now Balder on the scout, Fancy on the Sniper trying to hold it, but it's not going to be enough. Fancy goes down. Tries to get greedy, tries to get a frag, but it's not going to be enough, as it's going to be Balder on the forward spawn heavy, trying to get something done.
it's a man advantage right now for Forfeit, so they can definitely go for a pressure play. Ubers are even, but maybe you can actually get the Uber Force out here. You see, they have so many players in here. Nice rockets there from Lava. It's going to take down Bushman. And Neva goes down as well. Maybe even gets one more soldier here in the move. No, not quite. So I really like that Forfeit went for that pressure play to try and get the Uber Force out. Didn't really succeed, but that doesn't mean it wasn't a good try.
Yeah, I think that has been the difference as we have MANDEM trying to pressure out with their man advantage, but they lose too. I think that has been the difference. Every single push that Forfeits go for, they're trying to get man advantage before, and it worked last time, and now they're up 6 versus 4, the same situation exactly, whereas MANDEM have been just pushing in dry without a man advantage. That's going to be now 4 frags for Forfeits as they come barreling forward. QB's on the point. The Uber is forced out. Muller hasn't had to use their Uber so much better. It's 4 seconds better as Balder taking up, checking towards Panic, and point is having to be blocked by Tube. Look, sacrifices her life for it, but Forfeits winning that point. I think it was the same on Gullywash as well, where Forfeits trying to pressure in, trying to create that man advantage beforehand, whereas MANDEM trying to take their Ubercharge advantage in, to get the point based off of that. And I think that has been not working out quite so well for MANDEM as Forfeits. It's 2-1 now on process as well, with 16:30 left on the clock here. It's going to be 4th mid-fight here, as we have MANDEM slightly quicker, once again a more aggressive rollout from Ron's, getting caught in the IT though, and that's going to be a quick frag for Forfeits.
Yeah, almost gets the Devilman there, but almost being the operating word, not getting him at all here. So they're just going to go out and see if they can hold choke here. Timur's in a pretty good spot to maybe jump in. He has been spotted, and if no one else pressures, he can't really do anything here, but we'll see. Bruceman, is he going to jump in? He doesn't have a buff, so I doubt it. But you can see that this pressure's coming in here pretty aggressively. And actually, Medic goes down. Bula just gets jumped by Gladox. Does not want to pop it. Well, did he even have Uber? I'm not sure. Yeah, he did. Right, surely. Either way, clean up time.
Who knows? I don't think he did. In the chat, it's not saying he dropped, so I think they just went slightly before the Uber charge and got caught out because of it, and now that's going to be Forfeits. Actually, the scout on the back cap, QB on the second point. Lardox is going to be fighting this.
It's just a Demoman and a Medic. Oh, 2 good pipes there from Delhi. Really important.
Yeah, we have Lardox stopping the back cap as well, so Forfeits not quite able to hold on to this middle point. Oh, never mind. The Uber is forced out. Actually, Delhi and Bruce will go down though, and now it's been Lardox capping it up. Those 2 frags plus the deny on onto QB is going to make Forfeits back all the way out. MANDEM going to be capping up the second point momentarily, I imagine. Just waiting for their players to come forward so they can walk forward as 6, and it's going to be Forfeits just holding this last point once again. They're not going to be too out of feel too uncomfortable here. A round up. Even if they lose this round, they're still at the worst tied. So it's going to be all for MANDEM to play for here. They've got to do something. Forfeits are just going to happily run down the clock for these next 5 minutes.
Nice and easy. Putting up a sentry gun. Nevo checking for off classes just to see if anything sneaky is going on. As far as I can tell, there is not. Even soldiers are not on man-treads or anything like that. It's just fully cookie cutter. So Nevo is gonna just try and see if he can snipe anyone on entry. But this is gonna be up to MANDEM to figure out how can they cause some chaos, how can they pressure them out. They probably want to pressure down the sentry gun quite a bit, but yeah, currently it just involves peeking into a sniper, and that makes me nervous.
As it should, as Balder's head gets taken clean off before Lardox bombing forward.
Sentry
taken out by the gun.
It counts, it counts.
Goes in the frag movie. Peter, you doing it, yeah?
All counts. I swear that was the sentry rocket that took him out.
And it's just going to be, once again, Forfeits just holding on this last, very content to just hold onto it. The pack is now being stickied up very clearly just behind the fence, but you never know. People don't pay attention to stickies. Surely it's going to get a free frag.
Every time. Fancy. He wants to get a free frag as well. He's on sniper. Let's see if he can actually win this sniper duel against Nevo. Nevo's been on it so far, hitting everything that he's supposed to hit. So it's just going to be a matter of can Forfeits figure out that Fancy's on sniper, and can they deal with it fast enough?
Mula's got a teleporter to go back to spawn if they get into trouble, and I'm sure they now know Fancy's on sniper. He's trying to peek in through. As he's trying to take it in through 1 here, where the defense is actually the weakest. He's scoped up, hard scoping all the way through. Might pick up a sniper. Does indeed. Neva goes down. Now it's Fancy free reign for the next 17 seconds without a sniper to worry about. Boulder is now through. Zams gets taken out, but Brugman gets fragged for it. And the teleporter has also been spotted. Boulder is taken out by the sentry gun. It's just going to be a 4 versus 4. Fancy goes in, gets the frag.
Oh,
he's deep. He's deep now. He sees the medic. Muller's hiding behind the point. The gun is going to be taken out, I imagine. There we go. Rons takes it out as we have Fancy taken out by the stickies of Delhi in response. It's not going to be quite enough to get a medic force. Lardox gets taken out as well. So the pressure in from Mandem is great, but it's not great enough to get this Uber charge out, as the setup from Forfence is going to come up once again.
Fancy was in so deep for so long. I can't believe he never hit anything there. So lots of pressure going on, and honestly, at that point, it's almost just luck whether or not Lula has to pop or drop Uber. But they weather the storm. It's 2 minutes remaining here. They can just hold back on last. They are ahead, just like to remind you, even though still plenty of time. Ooh. We could have to by default to actually just stand in front of the sentry gun to try and absorb the damage. Not quite enough. They spam it down regardless. And this should open up the opportunity for Rons or Lars to jump in, but right now they're both being spammed out pretty heavily as they try to use
Uber's used and now traded in. The sentry gun goes down early, so the Ubers are out of play, and now it's just going to be Mandem playing back towards 1 as the soldiers coming forward for Forfence. The health is in the red for Mandem, so they are all really weak here. Ron's on 3 health, Zam's on 30, and it's now going to be some sort of pressure from Lardox in panic. He needs to get cleared out, otherwise he's going to deal huge damage as Mandem with all the space. Fancy goes down, Brugman goes down. It's a 4 versus 4. Delhi is now taking out no stickies for the point from either team, as Boulder is going to try to get it done, but is not able to. And June falls in the fray as well, so that's going to be a large overcharge advantage for Muller, and now they're happy to cap up this point. They're going to come forward. The forward spawn is going to be a 4-wave, but it does not include the medic, and Forfence going to try to just wait for their players and then come forward once they're nice, healed up and ready to go.
It was a very close fight there, but at the end of the day, the medic survived with the scout, so they can just push out and cap it out really quickly, so they don't lose too much on that. So great hold by Forfence. They're going to be moving in here. There's the normal sticky trap on top of the point here from Zams. That works surprisingly often, but other than that, it's going to be extremely difficult here for men to actually stop anything. But they're giving it their best. They're putting in a lot of spam, and actually they're +1 right now in this group. Who got forced?
Fancy with 2 onto Brugman and Demol gets both soldiers. The point hasn't been capped, and now June with the full Ubercharge advantage, and Fancy saying don't time the best. It's enough to make Forfence run back with the tail between their legs, and it's going to be Mauler who's caught by Rons. It's absolutely crushing for Mandem as Forfence now on their last, no sentry gun up, and it is just going to be a full Ubercharge advantage. Players down for Forfence as well, and this is the opportunity that Mandem need to take. They've lost 2 in this advantage though. Brugman is going to be a consolation frag for them. They haven't used the Uber yet though, so they're going to get really deep. They're going to start to try to pressure the point. The sentry gun goes down, the heavy is up. Nevo is going to fall instantly. Fancy does die in that though. The stickies are still available for Forfence as well, and it's just not going to be quite good enough. Zams falls, and they're going to be just chasing June in lobby. Demol goes down to Boulder. He's going to have the high ground, and now it's going to be Mandem once again coming back in onto Delhi. The pressure for the point is great. It's going to have to be Forfence playing towards the point to hold on. The soldiers now bombing forward. They're going to have to get it quickly before the spawns come in. It's going to be enough for Forfence to hold on, I think.
What
it's
a
just
fight.
It's
Never
absolutely
ends.
crazy. Nevo goes down. Delhi is still alive. He's on single-digit health, but survives in the spawn. Rons is alive, and now Mandem towards 1. The Ubercharge disadvantage is towards them. Forfence with about 20% up on them. And after a crazy fight, which you feel that Mandem had a massive advantage in, Forfence just scrambling to survive, and they hold on for dear life.
That was an absolute crazy hold so many times. Like the Mandem split where they just backed off and then came back in from every single doorway. just completely pulling Forfeits apart. It was just absolute desperation mode. But somehow Forfeits, they managed to hold on here. And I think they're happy to just take a breather and not push on their 35% Uber ad or whatever it was. They was like, nah, we're good. We're just gonna actually get our breath back here. Baldur gets taken down top lobby. Maybe we're gonna see Fancy run back here and switch off of a scout to go or sniper, something like that. Actually, we have a soldier pinned through the wall. Poor Rods, just stuck on the wall.
Yeah, I mean, it was, again, MANDEM just trying to get deep without using their Uber. They had that Uber charge advantage, but they had a player up, or player 2 as well, but then they lose 2 on the entry, so rather than just using that Uber to get through, maybe pressure the point somewhat, get Delhi stickies off, they lose 2 early, they use the Uber late, but it's just enough for Forfeits to just hold on. They don't need to do anything as long as MANDEM aren't capping the point, and without using that Uber charge in to try to get those frags, it just meant that there was no pressure on that point, and it was free for Forfeits to defend. As now MANDEM with 2.5 minutes left in the round and 6.5 on the clock. They used the Uber in onto last. There's no sentry gun to play around for Forfeits this time, so it's a 6 versus 6 dry as June is caught by the stickies. Brugman dies, but it's not going to be enough as we have Demol falling, but once again it's just Zams. Mula survives, whereas June does not, and it's going to be Uber charge advantage for Forfeits with 6.5 minutes left on the clock.
Kind of tragic. MANDEM, there's so much worse at breaking these holds than Forfeits are at holding them. It just looks completely solid every time. Or even when it does look solid, somehow Forfeits manages to hold on. But they don't want to quit here, MANDEM. They're going to push on in. See if they can put on some pressure. Right now, Sam's has been pushed back pretty heavily here. And now if Soldier gets sent in, gains really nothing. So I think that's going to be that for this pressure. They're just going to have to retreat and hope that they don't get fully re-pushed on here. As Mula is coming up on the Uber here, but we have seen him push in before Uber's come into play. So maybe he's someone you can 99, 100%. Okay. Never mind, not relevant anymore. So they're actually gonna pop in here, send in the demo very aggressively. Yeah, they catch out Zams, unable to escape. However, a lot of them is also still behind lines here, so there is some potential picks still to be had.
Yeah, Lardox gets traded, Delhi does go down, and it's an Uber charge exchange on second by the looks of things as the players are now forward. Dumall goes down but trades out Baldur. And it's going to be Forfeits once again pressuring this second point. MANDEM try to hold on. They lose another one. But it's a 3 versus 3, and it's going to be a better position here for MANDEM, I imagine, because their spawn is just so close. But June is down to single-digit health almost, and is so weak. The bomb coming in from Brugman is going to be enough, and it's going to now be all action towards Mula on that 70 health. Does manage to survive. Fancy does not take out the medic, and now it's going to be MANDEM running back with a large Ubercharge disadvantage. I'm somewhat surprised they bombed in trying to hold on to that second, because last time they had that Ubercharge disadvantage holding on to mid. They just got that Uber out of Forfeits by spamming pipes and rockets at Mula really early, forced the Uber out, and then they just won the exchange based off of that. So I'm surprised they didn't go for that one again, but it's possibly cost them now their 4 minutes 17 seconds on the clock here, as Forfeits now coming in there, trying to convert another round, put the game possibly out of reach as the sentry gun goes down. Brugman's towards panic. There's no pressure onto the MANDEM combo. It's all towards the point though. Rons goes down early. QB falls for it. Delhi's weak in the lobby as Nevo, and QB goes down. The Brugman falls as well, and it's going to be a hold on to the last point. Dumall is in panic though.
They don't realize.
It's going to be Dumall go for the point again. He won the last map by capping up Gully last. He possibly wins this map by winning up Process last, and it's going to be it's going to be 3 minutes 30 seconds on the clock for MANDEM to win 2 rounds. You're possibly thinking, uh-oh, D-Maul has just absolutely demolished MANDEM here with those 2 caps.
It's just, those caps, they're brutal. It's still 3 minutes remaining. You need 2 rounds. You can do that, but you need to be very quick about it. So I think the smart thing from Forfeits here would be to really heavily focus June, because that's going to slow down the game, right? You need Ubers to go in here. So even if you lose a mid-fight, but you get June, you can still do this. Baller going down immediately, though. That's so good for the offense.
Yeah, you have two things that you could do. You could either focus June to slow down the game, or you could just win the mid-fight straight up. But you could also just make sure that your medic does not die, and you could be holding on to last, because MANDEM have had massive problems pressuring in onto your last. So even if you're back on your last, if you got that Uber on Mula, yeah, I think you're pretty confident as Forfence, but I mean, with 2:40 left on the clock, staring down a team pressuring into your own last and 2 rounds down, it looks like MANDEM pretty much out of this one. It has been pretty close, but Forfence have just been so much more efficient in converting these last, and it's going to be this last push now that is possibly going to seal the deal for Forfence. They're just going to take it slow. They don't need to take it quickly. The time is on their side. They're up towards panic. The Uber is now used. It's traded out. Health is looking pretty good for Forfence as we have a frag coming in onto Fancy. Ron's is also really weak. June is put down to 50. He does get taken out, and that is going to be all she wrote with 3 rounds up, I imagine. Never mind. If He's just going to deal so much damage, it's still a fight on for MANDEM. Nope. There we go. There's the cap. It's going to be a 4-1 or better, possibly victory here for Forfence, but either way, Fancy says good luck in finals. It's going to be all she wrote. Forfence are going to be taking on Witness at 21 CET. That's in 2.5 hours time. Wow, what a game. It possibly wasn't what we were expecting, but MANDEM with 2 kind of Merc-esque players, it's not necessarily all that surprising, Peter.
No, it was definitely a worry for me that they were going to be able to live up to the performance that they had yesterday. So now I just hope that Forfence, it's not just that they somehow managed to edge out MANDEM every ETF2L season from now on, right? But I hope they're also able to put up a really good fight here against Witness Gaming, because that's going to be a mammoth task for them to actually do here. Daily gets chased down, hits one nice pipe, unable to get the second one.
Yeah, so we had that Forfence taking a map off Witness earlier on in the season could spell pretty good news for them going into tonight's grand final. We're not going to have a repeat of Poland. We have basically had a repeat of last season's grand final with Forfence taking the victory now over MANDEM on Gullywash and then Process, as it's going to be the gamers from France going to be taking on Witness Gaming EU in the grand finals later on, Peter.
Yeah, Timur has snuck in behind with some point-blank headshots. I love it. Good stuff. We have some fun here, as that's going to be that time has officially run out. It was just a 4-1 Forfence win, and I want to say relatively comfortably. I suspect these locks are going to be more one-sided than the Gullywash one, but either way, just they definitely look like the better team, just more coordinated overall. So fully deserved here by Forfence, and they're going to be in the grand finals of ETF2L once again. Let's see if they can do what they did last time and conquer the odds.
Yes, they will be taking on Witness Gaming to try to defend their crown. They have dethroned, well, not dethroned, I guess they've usurped MANDEM, who were ahead of them in the tables, beat them in the main season, and have got at least a second place medal, but they're looking to defend that title, as in the logs, Nevo top fragging on 28 frags to 11, the same number of frags as the top frag on Gullywash. But instead, last time it was QB, this time it's Nevo, but it's a scout either way. Top damage coming out from Nevo as well, so big impact from him. June dying slightly more often than Mula, getting 4 more Ubers once again. Not exactly sure how. Mula with slightly more heals, but it's all out in the wash in that sense. But it was pretty much, I think the biggest difference there was just the demo man. I think the impact that Zams had, died 12 times to Delhi's 8. Got a few fewer kills. The damage was about the same, but the soldiers were also huge. Brugman and Dumall getting 4th and 5th in frags, whereas Lardox and Rongs back towards the bottom of the kill table. But either way, it was a stronger performance, certainly from Forfence on that process, with 92 kills to 67.
Yeah, very strong overall. I don't feel like singling out single players is really going to tell you that much here. It really felt like a team effort overall for Forfence, in my opinion. Also, I think they were maybe defending a little bit more, and usually that's going to inflate your stats, right? Because your opponents are like feeding in, trying to get an uber force and that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to put too much stock into these logs. I saw it with my eyes. Forfence was definitely the better team, and somehow they managed to hold on with some really crazy holds, and MANDEM really struggled to break them. And I think that's my main takeaway from that.
Yeah, it was. It looked good at first with MANDEM winning that first round on. I think it was the second try. Maybe they had We thought maybe they had conquered their Gullywash woes of pushing in onto last, but the later you got into that map, the just better and better Forfence got at defending, and they have the more opportunities and better opportunities MANDEM seemed to be squandering, and it just meant that Forfence just never really felt. I mean, they felt the pressure, but they always looked better, and it ended up bringing them the victory to today on 4-1 on process, and picking up the 4-2 on Gullywash as well.
And with that, I think we're going to end it. So big shout out to Stu for doing production. Big shout out to you today, Harry, for carrying me. And big shout out to Fancy for playing 2 maps of Scout, and it's already gone to his head. Like, the power rush is insane.
He's discovered the overpowered class, and he's never touching Demo Man again.
Yeah, pretty much. But that's all I have to say. You take us out of here, Harry. I need to go blow my nose again.
Yep, so it was the lower bracket finals. It was Forfence versus MANDEM. Gullywash and Process both went Forfence's way with a 4-2, 4-1 victory as they look towards the grand finals later on in 2.5 hours at 21 CET. Witness awaits them, and we'll be back with that game later on in the evening. I've been Harry. Beta joined me in the casting booth tonight with Stu on production. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you later.